So if you're looking to buy a lot in Northport and also build a house, this new regulation that Northport just put into place may make you rethink which lots you would want to buy and which lots you'd absolutely want to stay away from. What's going on, everyone? My name is Noah Ward, your Northport realtor, and in today's video we are going to be breaking down this brand new regulation that Northport put into place when it comes to building a house. So there's a lot of things that you need to be aware of, and we're going to be breaking it down all in this video today. But before we jump into that and start talking about this new regulation, whether you're looking to, buy a lot now, maybe build a house next year or build a house right away, we have an entire team that's wrapped around this whole new construction aspect in the Northport area. We basically will take you all the way from helping you with land acquisition to walking you through the new construction process to handing the keys to your brand new house. We're partnered with some amazing builders in the Northport area, so I'd be more than happy to connect you with these builders and answer any and all of your questions, as well as help you, evaluate the lots to look at when you're buying a lot in Northport. If you guys want to know more about evaluating lots, I've created a video up above, so you guys definitely go and check that out. It's going to be helpful. There's three major things you want to look for when evaluating a lot. But in today's video, we're talking about this brand new regulation and how this is going to affect people who are looking to buy lots moving forward. And also, if you guys are looking to move to Northport but haven't exactly been to the Northport area, not sure if it's the right fit for you, what we have done is create a buyer's relocation guide, 100% free. You guys can go check it out right here. The link is down in the description down below. 100% free. And this buyer's relocation guide basically looks through, a resident's eyes of Northport, talking about, the best attractions, things to do, top restaurants, some of the healthcare, what the school ratings are, hotels in Northport, and much, much more. Basically everything you need to know before you make the move to the Northport area. So if you guys want to go and check that out, just use the link down below. 100% free for you guys. Highly recommend you guys go and check that out. So let's talk about this new regulation in Northport and how this is going to affect a lot of different people moving forward. And this lot regulation basically is going to we're talking about trees, right? This video is talking about trees, land clearing, and everything like that. So let's first talk about who exactly is this new regulation going to affect? Well, it's going to affect people that are looking to buy lots, that are looking to build houses. So anyone that's looking to remove, relocate, or basically completely clear all the trees from land in Northport, right? So that's who it's going to affect, people building new construction basically. And it's going to affect a lot of people in different ways, and people are going to be paying different amounts and stuff like that, and we will be breaking that down as well. So what exactly is this new regulation, so to speak? This new regulation is encompassing the tree aspect of stuff, including heritage trees in Northport, which are trees basically at breast height, so 4.5 feet above the ground. Any tree that's above 24 inches in diameter, those are considered heritage trees. So what Northport has done is they've moved to a point system. And I'll throw up a picture right here of what I'm talking about with this point system. So this point system basically talks about, if a heritage tree, let's just say if a heritage tree is 24 inches, right? And these trees are basically oaks, right? And the whole point of this regulation is to protect as many trees as we can, instead of clear cutting all the land, even though we have to replace some trees when we're building for new construction. We just don't want to be clearing all of these trees down, these beautiful, gorgeous oaks that have been growing for 50 plus years. It really is a shame to knock them down, and so I think that's kind of the major reason why Northport is protecting them. But going back to the point system. This point system, so if an oak tree is 24 inches in diameter, you have to multiply. It's on a multiplication scale. So you'll see it right here, and this multiplier is either 2 or 3 times for an oak. And so, for example, if the diameter of this oak tree is 24 inches, you multiply that by 2, then that gives you 48, right? So this 48, that's 48 points. So you mark that down right here on the mitigation report. Then once you go through all the species, so this new tree regulation basically is encompassing all trees that are protected and all trees that are native. This does not really include any trees that are invasive, such as the Australian pines, carrotwood trees, Brazilian pepper trees, everything like that. Those do not apply to it. It's only trees that are native to the local area is what they're caring about. So what we do is we go through a mitigation report. So what happens is we get a tree survey done before we buy the land, or after you buy the land, we get a tree survey done. And through this process, what we're going to do is They measure the trees, they measure all the lengths of the trees, get the diameters of every tree, and then they map them. It's like a survey, survey for land basically. And what they do is next we take this mitigation report and this conservation report. All the trees that we're going to be removing, so we have to talk with the builder, say, hey builder, what trees can we keep and what trees can we remove? Realistically, these 80-foot wide lots by 125-foot deep, they're very hard to keep a lot of trees just because you have equipment, you're building around, and you have probably about 10 feet of clearance on both sides of your house, just depending on what size house that you're going to be building on. So it is kind of a headache to go through, but what we do is we work with a builder hand in hand and talk with them, hey, what trees can we keep and what trees can we remove? So what we do is look at the study, we overlay the house, what trees can we keep for the driveway, septic system, everything like that. So then we mark them down, and then what we do is take the diameter of all these trees, and they all have a different point scale, multiplication scale, whether that be multiplying by 2, multiplying by 3, for the mitigation. So for all these trees that we're mitigating, we have to go through the point scale. That's our mitigation report. We take all those points that we added up, and that's our mitigation total points. Then we go through and we're like, okay, what trees are we conserving? These trees that we're conserving, we go through and we say, okay, this one's 15 inches in diameter. This one is, this one's basically 20 inches in diameter, whatever that may be. And then we go through the conservation one, and then we take all those points, add those up. And then at the very end, we take the mitigation ones and then the conservation points, and then we take the difference, right? So we take the difference between the mitigation and the conservation ones, we subtract those two together, and whatever points that are left over, say it's 20 points, or let's just say it's 10 points that's left over, right? After we, subtract mitigation from the conservation points, each point that we have to get rid of, basically, it costs $50. So it's not too bad. Let's just say there's 10 points that we have left over, and it's $50 a point. That is basically $500 that you have to pay on top of the permits and everything like that. So it is a worksheet. It's not, people are making out to be a lot worse than it really is. It's really just understanding this new regulation and what you need to be aware of. But the biggest thing is when you're looking to buy a piece of land in Northport, you definitely want to stay away from ones that have heritage trees, just because those guys are a big headache with the permits you have to pull, everything like that. But otherwise, all the other trees on the lots are fairly easy to take care of. You just have to be working with an experienced builder, agent, as well as a land clearing guide to help you through that. So now that we've talked about what this new regulation is and kind of some of the exceptions and kind of basically the process and the steps to take to move forward with this, let's talk about the fees that are associated with this whole entire process so you guys are not caught off guard. So the first one is we're going to talk about the tree removing permit. This tree removing permit is $18.75, very small cost in the grand scheme of stuff. Then what we have is the land clearing permit. So this does not mean this is what it costs to clear the land, this is the cost associated with submitting the permit. And this cost is $228.75. So once again, those two costs are very small in the whole grand scheme of things. And then we have the cost of the mitigation. This goes back to what our mitigation report comes back as. Remember, if it was 10 points left over, times that by 50, that gives us $500. That's our mitigation cost. However, it's going to vary depending on the lot, so I can't say what the specific mitigations cost is going to be. Like I said, it can range anywhere from $500 to $3,000 basically. Just depends on how many trees that you have on there. But those are the major fees that are associated with this, along with your typical permitting fees. But just sticking with this regulation, those are the fees that you got to be careful of. So what does this mean moving forward for people that are looking to buy lots here, and kind of what are the best practices, right? Because I'll get this question, I've already gotten this question before, is what are some of the best practices? Number one, we got to be very selective with lots. Being selective with these lots, such as before we even purchase this lot, get an environmental study done, make sure there's no gopher tortoises, scrub jays, and also no heritage trees at all. But if there are some, we can work around them if they are on the far sides of the property as well and you really want that lot, right? There are some ways to work around that. So we got to be more selective on these lots for sure. And then the next thing is basically, like I said, get the environmental assessment done, make sure you know everything that's on that lot, be careful which lots you pick from. Remember, there's a lot of lots to choose from in Northport, and we can walk you through what lots are good, what lots are bad, and stuff like that. But once you get that environmental assessment report done, we'll basically be able to tell you this should be a go for a lot, this is not going to be a go for a lot, because at the end of the day, if there's a gopher tortoise heritage tree, you could be looking at an additional $10,000+ just in land land cost basically, and that does not include any trees, tree removal, or anything like that. So there's just some more stuff that we gotta be careful of moving forward with buying lots, and I just wanted you guys to know that when evaluating lots. So that kind of sums up today's video about the new regulations here in Northport. If you guys have any questions about these regulations, because I know you guys will, I myself had a lot of questions. I had to ask a lot of people for this, but now that it's a lot simpler once, Northport complicated it a little bit, but now it's actually a pretty simple process. So if you guys want us to walk you through the whole entire process, hold your hand. We'd be more than happy to. Feel free to reach out to us, our contact information down below. But if you guys have any questions, put them in the comments section down below. I answer to every single person that comments on my YouTube channel. But once again, I hope you guys found a lot of value in this video, and we will catch you guys all on the flip side.